Hello and welcome to the British Dapper, and today we're talking about why you should wear a three-piece suit, timeless style tips and benefits. So when it comes to buying a suit, whether that's in store, buying off the rack, or if that's made to measure, or by having a bespoke suit made, you have a choice to make whether you buy a two-piece suit or a three-piece suit. And so today is looking at the use of a three-piece suit and the benefits of buying one of those opposed to a two-piece suit. So, for example, with a two-piece suit, yes, you've got the outer jacket or the coat and a pair of trousers that match. But when you get a three-piece, you get the additional waistcoat, and that gives you a slightly different dimension and a different look and feel to wearing a suit. So for example, this extra piece of material here lifts that V a little bit higher to the face and accentuates the tie that's being worn underneath it. Also, additionally, you can open your jacket up and you've got that additional freedom of still looking good with that suit material still visible underneath the actual jacket. Now that does have an inherent cost, because whilst you can have a two-piece suit, the extra cost for a waistcoat is going to obviously put your overall costs up. But I would suggest that that extra cost is well worth it in the long run. But not all is lost. If, for example, you've got a two-piece suit and you want to elevate that, you can do something about that by introducing another waistcoat to that two-piece suit, raising it to a three-piece suit as in the shape and the contouring, but making the use of a contrasting waistcoat that makes it more of a statement piece is something you could consider. So let's talk a little bit more about three-piece suits. Now, the three-piece suit is basically all made from the same material, and that would be the jacket or coat as we would normally describe it, the trousers, and a matching waistcoat. That is a three-piece suit. Now the waistcoat, not dissimilar to the actual jacket or the coat, can have different lapels. It can have notch lapels, it can have peak lapels, it can have a shoal, it could have no lapels at all, just a simple vest cut. So it's something that you could consider as part of that three-piece suit is the style and design of the waistcoat itself. It could be double-breasted, it could be single-breasted, it can be 6, 5 or 4 button. There are a number of different options depending on the cut of the waistcoat. But here are a few of my personal favorites that I wear on a regular basis. So the first one I'm going to show you is a pinstripe suit. Very formal in its look. I think it's great for that business meeting or that business look. Quite officious in a way. It goes really well with black shoes. And in this case, we've got a navy suit with a white pinstripe. And it goes really well with a plain tie or something along the lines of a very subtle pattern tie. And it goes extremely well if you wanted to wear with a bowler hat, although that might date it a little bit as a look, but certainly it does accentuate that business look, specifically with the waistcoat as that additional cutting edge, if you like, of that look or defining look. Something else to consider is Prince of Wales, for example, patterned suit. In this case, we're wearing a three-piece suit with a berry overcheck, and is actually the one that I got married in. But the overall look is a really nice, refined look. And although the image doesn't portray it particularly well in this one, you can, the waistcoat does elevate it a little bit. But if you have the jacket open, it does show you the full extent of the waistcoat. And for example, if it is a little bit warm in the office or at a wedding, for example, you could always take that jacket off and still have that elevated look with the waistcoat and trousers whilst you're in the office. If you're going out or moving out of your office, then maybe you put the jacket back on to give you that overall business look again. This particular one goes extremely well with that fedora hat, and it's something to consider when you're wearing a three-piece suit. How far do you elevate it up? But I would suggest you're going to go to the extremes of wearing a three-piece suit and you're going to wear it with, for example, the Prince of Wales, then why not inject a bit of personality and wear that fedora hat? Goes really well with a pair of burgundy shoes or black shoes in this case. But it's something to consider with that three-piece suit. It does again accentuate this area here, narrows down that V area and makes people more focused on that upper part of the body, which is the whole point of wearing a jacket and a suit, to elevate people's eyes to us when we're having a conversation. So three-piece suits don't just come in suit fabrics, they also come in tweed as well. And I think a three-piece suit in tweed looks really good. Sharp look for that town country vibe, but they really stand out in the city environment as well. And when we talk about tweed, it doesn't have to be greens or browns that are necessarily incorporated in the color of the suit. They could be just as easily used in blacks and whites and greys, for example, so that you get, for example, a Donegal tweed suit, and it gives you, albeit a little bit more relaxed, it still gives you that three-piece element, which is quite high end as a look, and goes extremely well even in the city environment. Another thing to consider is corduroy, very informal, but you can get those in three-piece suits as well. And they are very much a comforting winter sort of suit, very informal, but adds a lot of character to the overall look. And the final suit I want to touch on, really, I suppose, is something that might go well for that wedding situation, or maybe a formal work suit, and that is a grey suit or a grey worsted suit, charcoal or mid-grey, three-piece, black tie, white shirt. Another great look for that office environment, especially with a formal setting, and goes particularly well, I think, with that additional waistcoat. Now, I did right at the beginning mention about the use of an additional waistcoat upon a two-piece suit wear. Now, that gives you that mid layer, that gives you a highlighted area there with that contrasting waistcoat. Goes particularly well with a two-piece suit, but be careful about the construction or the fabric that's used in the waistcoat so it doesn't clash too much. So it's no good having a really shiny waistcoat with a very plain suit. So for example, contrasting is great. So a navy suit and then wearing a grey waistcoat really does emphasize that overall look. Maybe an ivory off-white is another good look. Certainly velvet waistcoats can go and elevate that look as well. And quite often I wear a green waistcoat that goes really well with those two-piece suits that I wear that are thorn-proof, heavy tweed Prince of Wales pattern suits. And it just gives you that extra little layer, and it gives you that heightened overall look, and it gives that pop of color as well. An injection of color really does make the overall look good. But when it comes to purchasing these things, I would always advocate, one, buy that extra waistcoat. So no two-piece, buy a three-piece. It does give you more flexibility. If you feel the waistcoat's too much, you don't wear it and you've still got a two-piece suit. But the amount of times, historically, I've bought a two-piece suit and wished I'd have got a three-piece, because that extra little layer in the middle really does make a lot of difference in the overall look. A waistcoat does also cover a little bit of a paunch if you've got that. It just flattens the silhouette out a little bit, and really does create a diversion, if you like, for somebody that is maybe a little bit portly. But the other thing I'd mention is, if you're going to buy a suit, really you need to consider the finance side of it. But if you can afford it, it's well worth getting that waistcoat and an additional pair of trousers to go with that suit, because trousers wear out quicker than the jacket or the waistcoat will. And I think with that combination, you're on a winner. So just a short video today about the three-piece suits and the virtue of it, and let me know what you think. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, then please feel free to do so. We have a Buy Me a Coffee page, so if you'd like to make a contribution to the channel, then please feel free to do so. We also love constructive comments, so if you'd like to make some, jot them down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And if you've got a question you'd like to pose to us, or you'd like an answer to, then why not jot it down? We'll try and answer your question for you. We also like ideas for future videos, so if you want to make a contribution and make a suggestion about future content, then please, again, jot it in the notes below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The next video could be something that you've recommended or suggested. So until next time, take care.